Hey, what's up everyone? Just wanted to show a quick comparison of three different webcams, very different webcams. This is a Logitech C310, which is a pretty old 720p webcam. Decent picture, but nothing to write home about. Alright, the next one I want to show you is a Canon Eos. So this is a T2i, which is an older, very old DSLR that still works with the Canon Eos Webcam utility that was released back in April of this year. The biggest advantage of a DSLR as a webcam is that you can use a wide variety of lenses on it. You also have a very high quality sensor. So while the enhanced resolution of a DSLR is not necessarily going to show up when using it as a webcam for things like Zoom or Teams, you still do get the better color. You'll notice the difference in color, richness, and accuracy between the DSLR, and I'll switch back to the Logitech. I mean, huge difference, right? Now the Logitech has a microphone built in, and DSLRs, while they do have microphones built in, the Canon Eos utility does not pass audio, so you do need to have a microphone somewhere, which is why I got my little headset hanging on my neck here. Anyway, so that's the Logitech, and this is the Canon T2i DSLR with a 28mm f3.5 lens. It's a zoom lens, but I have it set at 28mm. I'll turn off the title so you can see it clean. So you'll notice the bokeh effect. So I have this actually on manual focus right now. This camera is so old it can't do autofocus while it's shooting video. So I have to actually manually focus, which can't move around too much. If I lean back, I go out of focus, right? I'm sure the newer cameras will solve that problem. But another cool thing about a nice lens on a camera is the bokeh effect, right? You'll see this black and white picture behind me is blurry, the door behind me is blurry, and the window, which is about 30 feet away, is very blurry. So that's that sort of cinema look that a lot of people like. It helps to separate the image, in this case me, from the background. It helps me stand out. Again, you get the enhanced color from the better sensor on the lens. So that is the DSLR. And the final one I'm going to show you is what's called a Huddly. So Huddly takes a very different approach to webcams. This is more designed for huddle rooms, hence the name Huddly. So it's designed to act as a webcam, and it's compact and small like a webcam, but it has the ability to capture an entire room. So you can imagine if there were people on either side of me, they would still be in the frame. Um, if this was more a long table, we could have people sitting on both sides of the table, and everyone would still be in frame. So this is the Huddly. This is called the Huddly Go. You get a little app with it. I should have set up my screen share. Get a little app with it that gives you zoom control and digital pan and tilt. Sorry, that's a little jarring. But you don't have to go with the super wide angle lens. You can see the picture quality is good. It's not awesome, but it is good. And I can zoom in a lot more. I don't want to go. Right, that's kind of weird. So you don't have to have this like super wide angle view, but I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, you don't get the bokeh that you get with the DSLR, so I'm not. I kind of blend in with the background. It's hard to tell that there's actually quite a lot of distance behind me, but I feel like somehow the ability to see the space around me, see my arms, it's like a little more natural. It's a little more as if we are in the same space. I've noticed spending so much time on Zooms lately, just seeing the typical webcam frame. It's a little, I don't know. There's something jarring about it, and I think the wide angle does help just to make it feel a little bit more natural. Now you do get some weird effects like my arms, so you have to remember to keep them down. We are dealing with an extremely wide angle lens that's then being corrected with software. Um, so you don't want to get close to the camera. That starts, well, actually, it does pretty well. But again, my arms, which are long and I have big hands to begin with, so it really accentuates that. Anyway, so I hope this was helpful. I'm going to flip through them one more time. This is the Logitech 310, old basic webcam. This is the Canon DSLR through the Eos webcam utility that Canon released back in April of 2020. Make sure I'm tightly focused here. Again, I've got it in manual focus mode because it is such an old camera. And finally, here is the Huddly, super wide angle. So 3 very different looks, different price points. The Huddly retails for $400, but you can find them used or open box for less. I paid a lot less than that for this one on eBay. DSLRs, even the really old DSLR Canons still hold their value. This one, the T2i, which I think is at least 9 years old, still is, 100 or 200 bucks, with a lens. And your lens is really important on the DSLRs. You need a fairly wide angle. Like I said, this is a 28 millimeter lens on an APS-C sensor, so you get the crop factor. If you don't know what that is, look it up. APS-C crop factor. Basically, what it means is that 28 millimeters isn't as wide angle as you would think on this particular camera. Most of the DSLRs are APS-C sensors, and so you get that crop factor. And then, there's different. So anyway, lenses are, you could do a whole thing. I'm sure there's tons of good YouTubes on lenses, but obviously it all applies in this case too. But again, the richness of the color, the bokeh effect, and the way I'm separated from the background helps to draw focus. And again, if I wanted wider angle, more like the Huddly, I have that option to get a wider angle lens. Not necessarily cheap. Some of these lenses are very expensive, but they hold their value, which is nice. So you can sort of consider it an investment, especially in a webcam situation. Hopefully it's not going to get beat up as like it would if you were using it out on location shoots and stuff like that. If you buy it and just sit on your desk and it never moves, it should stay in really good shape, and then you can always resell it if you need to. All right, so that's the Canon, and then finally back to the Huddly. So again, Huddly, the main thing you're getting is the super wide angle lens and the software that allows it to. These cameras are all right in front of me on top of my monitor. In fact, here I'll take the Logitech and show you. So there's the Huddly right here, and there's the Canon right there, and then the Logitech was right here. Anyway, so they're all just sitting at the top of my monitor, more or less the same distance from my face. One other thing with the DSLR that you may have noticed, mounting them and installing them can be a challenge. They're pretty big and pretty heavy. I have mine temporarily sitting on a wastebasket. I do plan to invest in a tripod or some sort of arm that attaches. But again, all that stuff is pricey. The DSLRs, you can find good deals, quote unquote, based on how expensive this stuff is. You can find good deals on used equipment, but it is a big investment. You can see I've got the light up there too, although I find I don't have to use that very often. Back to the Canon one more time. This is my favorite. I guess I'm just a little bit of a photography nerd, and so the bokeh, which you can see really nicely right now with a different light, and the color accuracy is cool. But like I said, just picked up the Huddly. I think it's cool too. I think for certain types of depending on the type of meetings or presentations or live streams that you're doing, I think different camera angles can work, can help you, and they can also work against you. I'm very sensitive to poor video and poor audio quality on Zooms. I find it very distracting, and I think subconsciously, that can hurt you, and you don't want to have subconscious things working against you in your career. That's not a winning strategy. So, anyway, this went much longer than I planned, but hopefully it helps. And let me know what you think down in the comments, which one you like better, which ones maybe you've had experience with. And if people like this, I'll bust out the old Logitech 920, sort of the standard good webcam. I realize I'm not giving Logitech a very good chance here with a very old and basic webcam, but it definitely shows the difference between the different cameras. So, all right, thanks a lot for watching. We'll talk to you soon.